Hello everybody, this is Dr. Duncan McCollum and I am on Stepping In Radio this afternoon. Very happy to be here, and my cohort Carol Montgomery is not joining me today, so I am here talking with you about your health, and hopefully I'm going to be able to put a little insight out there for you and help you live a healthier, happier life. I've been a practicing chiropractor in Santa Cruz for 29 years, and actually I got my license right about the time of the earthquake. So I remember at the time there was a chiropractor in town named Dr. Piazza, and some of you may have known him or remember him, and he put all of his equipment out in the parking lot because he didn't have any power or electricity, anything like that, and he just started treating people. And I went over and helped them, and that was such an amazing thing, just to be able to help people, give them a little relief under the amount of stress that they're having in their life because of the earthquake and stuff. So I just remember that, and it was really neat to help a massive amount of people. And today that's really what I'm interested in doing, is helping people change their health care. Your health is so important. I had a gentleman come into my office the other day, and he was in his 70s, and he was with his partner, and one thing that they said really stuck with me. He had a chronic disease, and it wasn't looking really great for him for the next couple of years, and they kind of alluded to the fact that, well, he's only got a couple of years here, and I looked at them and said, well, gosh, if there's anything that we could do to help make those years better and happier and enjoy life more, then we should talk about that. And so we looked at his health, and we talked about what was going on with his nervous system and his spine. He came in because his neck was hurting him so bad he couldn't turn it one way or another. But after a couple adjustments, he came in and he was smiling, and he goes, I feel better. And to me, that's so important, to just change the quality of people's lives. Not always are we able to do that as quickly as we would like to, but really that kind of leads me to one of the discussions I want to talk about today, and that is the lack of symptoms or the presence of symptoms. Does that mean you're healthy or not? Well, just think about it. If you have a tooth that has a cavity in it, you might not even ever feel that cavity until it's too late, till it gets to the root and it's a root canal, and or it's, if at best, it's going to give you quite a bit of discomfort, and you're going to have an emergency midnight run to the dentist, or you have to medicate yourself up with enough ibuprofen to damage some organs in your body. So prevention is really what it's all about. And I was over, funny thing, I was picking my wife Elizabeth up at the airport the other day, and I had some time to kill, and I was over in the San Jose area, and I drove by Harry's Hofbräu, and I thought, wow, I haven't been to Harry's in years. And it was kind of nostalgic because my family used to go there when we were kids, and it was always fun. So I decided, well, I'll go in and get a bowl of clam chowder and just sit down and kill a little time till my wife's plane came in. And when I walked in there, and you get in the line and choose what you want, it's really amazing when you look around at the people that we live with on this planet. I mean, there was, and with all due respect, there wasn't one, maybe 5% weren't extremely overweight, if not obese. And it's sad to me because we have done a terrible job of allowing our public, or the people of our country, to know what health is and to actually have a healthy life. I think about that. A lot of the things we do in our office, besides chiropractic, is work with people with toxicity levels, with chronic disease, chronic inflammation. We do this through a multi-therapeutic approach, and one of it is this kind of trendy thing now called fasting. And I can't help think about one of my patients when she was working through some trouble areas, and I recommended that she skip a meal and told her, look, your digestive system's been working 24/7, and the advice that you had received was to eat 6 meals a day. And you know, she'd been doing that, but not getting any results. She still felt inflamed. She still felt terrible, had no energy. And the truth of the matter is, every time you put something in your mouth, you're spiking the insulin in your body. So I said, why don't you try this thing called intermittent fasting? And she asked what that was. And I said, well, what time do you eat dinner? She says 6:30, 7 o'clock. I go, all right, what time do you eat breakfast? Breakfast. Usually between 8 or 9. I go, why don't you wait, not eat breakfast, and eat at 1 o'clock? You've just given yourself a 16-hour fasting time, given your digestive system 16 hours to relax. Think about if you had a 10-pound weight in your left arm and you kept pumping that 10-pound weight for hours upon end every waking hour of the day. That muscle would be worn out and damaged. When you keep putting food in your digestive system, in your stomach and down through that digestive tract, it's working 24/7. It can never heal itself. And there's so much of the inflammatory diseases we see today are stemmed from an unhealthy digestive system. So I'll talk a little bit more about that, but you know, I look around at these people at Harry's and I thought, gosh, you know, they are fueling up. Food is fuel. And I thought about a car. If I had a full tank of gas, would I need to go into a gas station and fill up the gas tank? No gas would fit in there. I would literally have to open up the back seat and pour the gas in there, or pour it in the trunk, or any places that I could pour it. So food is fuel. Fuel is stored in our body in a couple different ways. One is fat. It's turned into fat and it's stored there, and unfortunately that happens to be the landing place of a lot of the toxins in our body. When we consume environmental toxins, leads, mercuries, aluminum from our deodorants and shampoos and various things like that, if our body can't get rid of that stuff, it gets stored in our fat cells. And then the other source is the muscles and the liver. The liver and muscles do store a quick amount of sugar made available really quickly. If your blood sugar was to drop, the body has this crazy thing called homeostasis, which means it's going to stay. It's going to ride it out and keep you healthy no matter what happens, or keep your body functioning. So here's the point, you know, if you have extra fuel on you already stored there, maybe you should look at a way to utilize that. And by doing that, you're going to help your heart, you're going to help your blood pressure, you're going to help your cholesterol, your liver, your kidneys, your lungs. All parts of your body are going to do better if you just start using up that stored energy. Think about if you had, you know, a couple cords of wood that you didn't burn last year, and you kept leaving it there year after year. Pretty soon it's going to be full of termites and spiders and rodents. So it's time to get rid of that stuff, okay? There's no time like right now for a new beginning. So one thing I wanted to do today, though, is I haven't really talked much about chiropractic. So I am going to talk about that today. I have this great new form that a good friend of mine, Dr. Martinez, sent over to me. And it's about what chiropractic does. And it says, do you have a back problem or do you have a health problem? So many people think that chiropractic is a back issue. I don't need a chiropractor, I don't have pain. That's like saying, I don't need a dentist, I don't have pain. So I'm going to go over some of the different parts of the spine, those nerves, what they do and what they go to. So quite honestly, the nerve that comes out of the brainstem, comes out of your skull and travels down the center of your spine, splits off and goes into the right and left hand side of your body. There's only 31 spinal nerves on each side, so you only have 62 spinal nerves that go to every cell and organ in your body. I was thinking about this. If you take a cell phone, maybe you take a big corporation like Google or Amazon or a family of 5. Those cell phones, and that is a communication system that the brain or the owner of the business or the head of the family needs to communicate to every single employee in that business or family member. Now take that on a planetary basis. We have something like 7 billion people on the planet, and a very good portion of them have cell phones. Well, your brain controls over 80 quadrillion cells, all through the same mechanism, basically, communication through the nervous system to and from the cells. And if you've ever had static on your cell phone, you're trying to talk to a family member and it's scratchy and you're in a dead area, you realize, I'm not communicating well. This isn't getting across. And usually you get irritated, you hang up and you try to call later, and then you say something about the phone company or the reception. So this is what happens when your body has interference between the brain and the body or the nervous system. So there's 24 movable segments in the spine, and I'm going to read down this little brochure, and if you like this, you could always go to info@McCollum Family Chiropractic and just say, please send me the form. For those of you that are on Facebook watching this, I am doing this on Duncan McCollum Facebook or McCollum Family Chiropractic, and it has all of the different levels. So just starting at the top, right below your ear, if you put your finger behind your ear, there's a bump, and you run down, and there's a little divot when it gets to the top of the neck. This is the first and second cervical vertebra. They're called C1 or C2, or the atlas, as in Charles Atlas holding up the head, and the axis is what it rotates on. So some of the pains that people develop when these are out, and if you push on both sides and one is sore, then you've got a problem. You've got what we call a subluxation, meaning below luxation, luxation meaning dislocation. So this just means a minor misalignment of the bones of the spine, putting pressure on the nerve, causing static like on your cell phone. So this is often responsible for migraine headaches. The internal organs that it go to, it's all anatomy, all anatomical structures within the head, the brain, the cranial nerves, the eyes, nose, ears, throat, and sinuses. So some of the common symptoms people will have if you have this pressure or static on this particular segment of your spine is you could feel spacey or dizzy, definitely low energy. You can experience memory problems, brain fog, ADHD and ADD, earaches, ringing in the ear, nose bleeding, sinus problems, snoring, sleep disorders, sore throats, colds, flus, itchy and runny eyes, allergies, and food sensitivities. All just from one bone being choked off in your neck. I mean, literally, if you cut your neck off right at that vertebra, nothing would work. But if you have a little pressure there, it's definitely going to cause that problem. Now, just so you know, the Santa Cruz County Fair is coming up this weekend. We all know that it's going to be there. And I'm going to have my booth out there. It's McCollum Chiropractic. And we will be behind the food stations in the lawn there. And we'll be doing spinal screenings there. So if you're at the fair, come on out and get checked. I'm going to be selling a coupon out there for you to take advantage of, where you can come into my office and get a complete exam, a full set of digital x-rays. Those normally are about $300, and consultation, and then a second day where we will go over those x-rays with you. And it's normally $399. We're selling the coupon for $37. So if I say anything today that makes you decide, gosh, what if I could get out of pain? What if I could be helped? Then take advantage of that. Come by our office or by the fair. We'll be there Wednesday. Miriam will be in the booth Wednesday and Thursday and Friday, along with Lupita. And just say, hey, I heard Dr. McCollum on the air, and I want to take advantage of that coupon. And, worst comes to worst, we can't help you, but you have a set of digital x-rays showing exactly what shape your spine's in, if there's any decay or arthritis that is unnatural. So many times I've got patients that have come in from another doctor, and they say, well, the doctor says I have some degeneration in my spine, and that's normal. Well, maybe or not, maybe not. If I buy 4 brand new Michelin tires and one's wearing out dramatically faster than the others because I hit a curb and never realigned the car, then that's not normal. And a lot of times, if we catch it in time, we can slow down or slow down the damage and make sure that the nervous system is working better. So it's really as simple as hard bone on soft nerve. So that's the first vertebra. Now the second segment we're going to talk about is called C3. This causes a lot of neck pain. It actually has a branch that goes down to the diaphragm, which is what goes up and down when you breathe. A lot of times when you have pressure on a nerve here in the mid part of your neck, you can have difficulty taking a breath. You can feel chronically fatigued. You can get anxiety, vertigo, shortness of breath, or allergies. So many times by taking care of the cervical spine or the neck, we're able to free up any interference, and people's bodies know what to do. Chiropractic doesn't heal anybody. It never has, and it never will. All chiropractic does is a good chiropractor is going to locate sources of nerve interference and eliminate it or reduce it as much as we can so the body does what it knows how to do, and that's heal. And it knows it needs no help, it just doesn't need any interference. A little further down we have C4, which goes to your thyroid gland. Lots of people, I think 33 million people in our country have thyroid problems. Common symptoms associated with this vertebra being out of place, if it's causing it to be low, you can have chronic weight gain, hair loss, feeling cold in your extremities all the time. Sometimes it's not decreasing the flow of energy, it's increasing it to any of these nerves, and you can get insomnia, nervousness, swollen glands, etc. Moving on down a little bit lower to what we call C5 or circle 5, right above that big bump in the back of your neck. This has a lot to do, again, with headaches. And you can also always get headaches in between meals. It has a lot to do with emotional problems and heart palpitations. Right below that is C6, right above that bump when you feel down your neck. Stomach issues, and a lot of times people will have problems with that and they need acids and stuff. Now what's really interesting is you get right down over the first rib or right above that C7. These are the nerves that go down to your hands. So it can cause numbness, tingling, pain, carpal tunnel, and even shoulder problems, elbow problems. So, here's the deal. If you have any of these conditions and you're not happy with the results you're getting, I really, really recommend you get checked. We will be there at the fair all week. You can come by our booth. We can do a screening on you. If you can't wait, just call my office, McCollum Chiropractic in Capitola, and say, hey, I heard Dr. McCollum on the air. I can't make it to the fair. Can I buy that coupon? Yes, you can. $37, a complete exam, a full set of digital x-rays, which I'll tell you, when you look at those with me, if it is a physical problem, you'll see it. And if it isn't, and if I can't tell you or help you, I will refer you to somebody that I think can, a different type of doctor. So the neck is damaged oftentimes from, especially we call it text neck now, because people are always on their cell phones, they're always on their computers, they're laying in bed working on computers, reading books. We've been studying with our head tilted down for so long. It's actually an epidemic. Your head weighs about 10 pounds. And if I had a 10-pound weight and I held my arm straight up with that weight, I could hold it for a while. But if I held it forward about maybe 5 or 6 inches out, after a little while, holding that 10-pound weight up is going to be very, very problematic. It's going to make my bicep muscle scream for mercy. Well, when you have what we call a forward head tilt, or you don't have the proper curve in your neck, those muscles in the back of your neck that anchor to the upper back they fire up and they just wreak havoc on your body. And they're going to tighten up the upper back. The upper back is the very top, the big bump. Those are nerves that actually go into your fingers, hands, shoulders, heart. They actually affect the coronary artery, functional heart conditions. They can affect high or low blood pressure. Now, I'm not saying that these are the only cause of it, but what if you could take away a huge element of the condition of the pressure on your body? So nerves are definitely a factor playing with your health. There's 2 other factors, and one of them is chemical. I started with that a little bit before, but when you really look at the 3 factors of health, we make a triangle. On one side you have physical, and that's simply hard bone on soft nerve. The second side is chemical. We have more chemicals going into our environment now than ever before. We're getting Roundup or glyphosate in our food now, in our rain and in our water. And not only that, but all the other herbicides, pesticides, antibiotics, and things that are put in, hormones that are put into our non-organic food, or our basically our non-organic food sources. These things get into your body. Those things are affecting your health. And so much so that we now know that you get toxins in your body from 4 generations of your mother. So if your mother's mother's mother worked in a smelting plant and had a lot of mercury when they started using it 150 years ago, and they didn't have a very good way of refining it maybe, and so that mercury was leaking out of her teeth, and then she passed that down to her mother that added her own mercury, lead, and other toxins from wherever they live, on down through the baby's blood to you, you have a pretty great chance of having quite a bit of toxins coming into you just from your mother. And then the other part of the chemical arena is each one of us, whether we like it or not, are born with a cup in our body, if you want to call it. Some of us have a shot glass, some have a 6 or 8 ounce glass, and some have a 16 ounce glass. This glass is basically your toxic load capacity glass. So soon as that glass fills up, or that cup fills up and spills over, your body can no longer handle it. Your body does a great job of hiding the toxins, of hiding the heavy metals, other chemicals in fat cells and in certain connective tissue of the body. But when they're saturated, there's no place else for it to go. So it's going to be flowing around in your body, affecting the actual live cells of your body, and it's going to get into your cells, and it's going to cause problems with genetics. It's going to cause chronic inflammation to turn on. We know that by detoxifying the body and getting the cell walls healthy again, that your body can actually heal itself. It's the same as taking pressure off a nerve. You take the toxins out of a body and you take the inflammation out of a cell wall, the body's going to get well. So we will be at the Santa Cruz County Fair this weekend, and if you come by our booth and decide to purchase the coupon for $37, which is going to cover an exam, a consultation, a full set of digital x-rays at my office, I won't have it there, and mention this show, I'll also have you do what's called a neurotoxic questionnaire. It's about 4 or 5 pages. It really digs into your history chemically, where you've lived, what kind of foods you've eaten. Different cities or states have different toxic loads. My wife grew up in Pennsylvania at the time of 3 Mile Island, and we did a heavy metal test on her and found out she was high in cesium. Well, where'd the cesium come from? Well, it's a byproduct of the blow-off of the radiation from 3 Mile Island. So that cesium, as well as the high mercury from the dentist work she's had done. And we grew up at the time of of lead paint, leaded gas. And those of you that are younger may not have that in your environment now, but your mothers' mothers did. And if you have chronic disease, if you've got some kind of thing that you just can't stand dealing with anymore, like chronic fatigue syndrome, fibromyalgia, you think you might be a Lyme person, you've definitely got toxicity in your body, and you really want to try to get to the source of it. Come by our booth, get our neurotoxic questionnaire, fill it out, and I'll offer a complimentary consultation where you will sit down in my office after you fill the paperwork out. We'll talk about it. And you can take that and do what you will with it. But I really encourage that, if you're listening to this show, take it as a sign that there's something else you can do for your health, and see what you can do to be healthy. One thing, if you are near your cell phone, as long as you're not driving, and if you want to just get an idea of healthy foods to eat, you can type into the phone number line 474747, and in the text line write "Get Healthy," all one word, "Get Healthy," and you will be taken to my website, but specifically to a shopping list, which is put together, all organic foods, what you should get, what you shouldn't get. And also, maybe you're not really sure how to eat. So there is a 1 week shopping or a meal plan there too. A lot of people just come in and they go, yeah, I just don't know what to do, or I don't like to cook. What do I do? And, it's very interesting. Some people come in, and if you're one, then hear this. A lot of people say, I don't eat carbohydrates, I have salads for lunch. Or I don't eat carbohydrates, I eat vegetables. Well, vegetables and salads are carbohydrates, and maybe you didn't know that. It's not just potatoes or French fries that are carbohydrates, or potato chips or rice. It's everything that's not protein or meat is a carbohydrate. So one thing that we do to help you get healthy, if we're going to work with the chemical side of you, nutritional side, we're going to really look at what you're putting in your body. And we do what's called a diet variation. So we're going to recommend that you alter certain foods. It's really important to understand what effect these foods have on the bugs in your stomach. We have these things called microbiomes, which are, you've probably all heard about these by now. All this stuff is coming out trendy. We have 100 trillion microbiome in our digestive system. More bugs in our gut than we have human cells. And these things are actually supposed to be our friends. And there's really three basic categories of microbiome. There's the ones that digest protein, the ones that digest fat, and the ones that digest carbohydrates. And the goodness and badness of these, the health or ill health of these, affect our health. You have unhealthy, weak microbiome in your body, you're going to be healthy and weak. They're the doorway to the world for us, these microbiomes. So when we do diet variation, we're going to wipe out the weak microbiomes of each of these categories. Dr. Yoshinori Asumi, who won the Nobel Prize in 2016 for health, discovered a word we all knew about in the healthcare field called autophagy or autophagy or self-eating. He really discovered and explored that in times of stress, the body's going to break down cells. We used to be concerned that it was going to break down the healthy muscle cells. Well, Dr. Asumi's work proved to us that it's breaking down the weak cells across the board. Weak cells can't adapt. Healthy cells can't adapt. So if you had a baseball team and you had some really good players on it and some not so good players, and they were professionals, so you could hire and fire them, then it would only make sense to fire the weak ones and hire the best ones. Look at the Warriors. They're the best team out there. They have awesome players. They don't have weak players. So think about the cells in your body, not only the microbiome, but all of the cells in your body as being 7, 8s, or 9s and above. Right now, when we're healthy and young in our life, our cells could be rated at 10 out of 10. But with the heavy toxins, with the nerve interference, and the stresses, mental stresses in our life, as these cells get reproduced down the line, you can see their level go from a 10 down to a 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. When you see somebody in their 70s who doesn't have any energy, these are somebody that has a lot of 4s and 3s for health. You see somebody in their 70s with tons of energy, they've managed, whether it's genetics and that genetic cup not running over, or that they've learned how to take care of their body. They've got cells that are 6, 7, 8s, 9s, and 10s. Their health is going to be a lot better. They're going to live a lot happier lives. And rather than, and I really hate to hear patients tell me this, that they're adapting their activities to the health of their body. So their body's going down more and more and more, and then they go, well, I don't golf anymore because I can't, or I don't play tennis, or I don't go out much, or I used to like to play the piano, but it hurts my fingers, and on and on and on. Pretty soon, there's nothing to live for. Your quality of living goes down. So that's being the effect of your body. If you want to take charge of your body, you want to learn how to actually start to turn some of those 4, 5s, 1s, and 2s, and 3s into a higher quality cell, come talk to me at the Santa Cruz County Fair this weekend. I'm going to be doing a class 1 o'clock Saturday and 1 o'clock Sunday at our booth on nutrition, diet variation, cellular healing, and just come talk to me. We'll talk about what's going on. Maybe we can give you a neurotoxic questionnaire to take home and bring back to my office. We'll set up some appointments to see you. Now, I know there are going to be a lot of you doing this, so that might be 2 or 3 weeks before we can see you, but this, the first come, first serve. And I want to tell you, I treated a guy Thursday, and for the first time, and he'd never been to a chiropractic before. He was suffering quite a bit, and he just thought, well, this is just my life. I just suffer. Hey, how's it going? I suffer. And I gave him his first adjustment after reviewing his x-rays with him and showing him so he could see where the problem was and explaining what we could expect. Because sometimes, the best we can hope for is to not let it get any worse and maybe lessen the symptoms some. So don't wait till that point. Do something before that happens. But anyway, I gave him his first adjustment. I think I adjusted 2 segments in his back. And he came in this morning and I saw him. He goes, you know what? I was thinking, I haven't been in pain since I saw you. And that's amazing. I mean, I'm so happy for that. It's not necessarily about getting people out of pain. We want that to happen, but it's really about being healthy. I think sometimes people go to chiropractors for a couple adjustments to get them out of pain, and that's awesome. Chiropractic works great for that. But when you really look at some of the other issues or the other areas that those nerves go to, you want to think about, wow, what if those nerves go somewhere else? Like if we look at this chart again of the low back, and I take the bottom bone in your back, which is called L5. You've probably all heard of somebody having L5 problems. This nerve that comes out of your low back goes down. It makes up part of your sciatic nerve. So if you have a bone out of place at L5 pinching a nerve, or degenerative disc disease, which a lot of people do, especially when they sit for a living, because those discs get nothing to drink, then you can have, of course, sciatic pain, low back pain, numbness, tingling, weakness in your legs and in your low back. But also those nerves go to your large intestine. You can have bowel problems. It also can affect give you headaches. Why? Because if your digestive system isn't getting rid of the toxins well enough, those toxins continue to flow around in your bloodstream. Your liver gets overloaded, and you're going to end up with symptoms. It could be a headache completely on the other end of the spine. Also, the prostate goes down there. So those nerves go to the prostate. They go to the reproductive organs. I've had, believe it or not, 18 babies born to my office over the last 29 years, where patients came in and said, oh, well, we were told we can't get pregnant. We've tried everything in the world, and hormone the whole gamut. And, all of a sudden we started adjusting them, and then 18 of them have come in and said they were pregnant. I remember one distinct lady that she came in, and her son, she'd had a son that passed away at, I think he was about 10 years old, and they were very, very sad couple about that, but they were doing fine. And she came in, she was overweight. She came in for low back pain. And the doctors had all told her, she was over 40, and the doctors had pretty much said, well, you know what, I don't think you're going to get pregnant again. We gave up on trying. They had done whatever they do. Well, she moved out of town after I'd been treating for about 3 or 4 weeks, and I ran into her at a fair, and she was so excited to see me, and she ran up to me and said, this is my baby. And I go, well, that's great. She goes, no, you don't understand. I was not supposed to have a baby. And after we left you and we moved out of town, within 2 weeks, we found out we were pregnant again, and the baby was this beautiful little girl. So you never know what happens with the body. It's a miracle. Your body could do amazing things if you allow it. Our Western medical system is set up to treat symptoms, and it does an okay job of that. But believe me, if there's an emergency medicine country, this is it. If you need a heart transplant, or you need a broken bone fixed, or some kind of artery that's severed, or something replaced, this is the place to do it. But all of the minor things that turn into major health problems because all we're doing is covering up with different types of medications that eventually plug up the liver and kidney, maybe not the best first defense. Maybe you should look at, how can I get healthy? Look at yourself in the mirror and go, do I look healthy? Are my eyes puffy? Do I have pain anywhere in my back, neck, spine, arms, feet, down my leg? How's my digestive system? Do I have 2 to 3 bowel movements a day like I should? Are they normal? Are they regular? How's my blood pressure? You know, do I have enough energy to get up the stairs, or do I get tired? Is my got up and went? Or do I feel like I'm ready to attack the day? Literally, your body runs like an internal combustion engine. Either you have good components or bad components. The neat thing about the body is if you treat it right, it will rebuild the parts. Your stomach cells only last 5 days. Every 5 days you get a whole new stomach lining. Muscle cells last 90 days. 120 days. So every 120 days you've got a whole new set of muscles. Your heart cells last 90 days. I mean, think, they're pumping constantly. How could they possibly last? They don't. They die off and new ones are built. But if you're replacing these cells with more damage, more toxic, less communication from the brain cells along the way, you're going to develop a weaker, tired, more sick, chronically ill body. So just think about it. If the longer you live, that graph of health is either going to go up, stay the same, or go down. And I can tell you, if you want it to go down faster, don't worry about the toxins you're getting in your environment. Don't worry about the stuff you're getting in your food. Spray your lawn with Roundup. Don't worry about the stuff that's in your food. I mean, we know that Roundup's in a lot of the cereals because they spray the fields liberally with it to make it easier to harvest the wheat. And I think you all probably know that there was a lawsuit that was won against Monsanto, first one ever, for $290 million. Well, what was interesting, it's the first jury trial for Monsanto ever. All other trials had not been in front of the people. You know, the people's will. And when they looked at the evidence and they looked at the two closing arguments and found out that one of them wasn't telling the whole story, they found for the poor gentleman who's probably not going to live long enough to enjoy the benefits of the $290 million. One thing to keep your eyes tuned for, you know, this state has mandatory vaccines, the only state so far that does. And you can't send your kid to a school that has any government money to it without having them vaccinated. This happened a couple of years ago. There's a lawsuit that's going to happen, I believe, next month or the month after in one of the eastern states. And it's going to be put to a jury trial. So it's going to be really interesting to see what the people decide based on the evidence. There's not going to be big money making a decision or being able to sway a decision here. It's going to be the people of the United States looking at whether or not we should have this mandatorily done. Whether you believe you should have them or not, and I'm not saying you should or shouldn't, I'm just saying that we should have a choice what we put into our body. It's part of our God-given right on this planet, or just our right as a citizen, to be able to choose what we want in our body. So, at any rate, I really encourage you to take a look at where your health is and draw a line in the sand and decide to do something to be healthier for the rest of the year. Just one thing. If you can take a walk. I have one of my patients, he's in his late 40s, and he was overweight, about 40 pounds, and he'd been patient for a while, and he'd had some low back issues come and go, and I finally said, look, you have to lose weight. We've been dealing with this for so long. Just start walking. Well, he came in the other day, and it's been going on for about 5 or 6 months, however long it is, and he's now lost over 20 pounds. And it's amazing. I just really commended him for doing that, for taking the time and effort to do it. You don't need that weight. Look at yourself and go, what can I do to be healthier? I get so many people with chronic disease, chronic arthritis, or just tired all the time, hair falling out, things like this that are just, it's pollution, it's toxin, it's poison in your body. It's so obvious. If I put my hand in a bucket of turpentine and left it in there for days on end, I'd pull my hand out, it would be inflamed and sick. Well, if your body's inflamed and sick, get it out of the turpentine, figuratively speaking. So I hope this is helpful. I'm going to be at the Santa Cruz County Fair. My booth is going to be there at McCollum Chiropractic behind the food court. And Miriam will be there doing screenings. And just go up and mention to her, hey, you heard Dr. McCollum on the air, you just want to buy a coupon, you'll come in and see me for the exam consultation, free set of digital x-rays. Digital x-rays are amazing. They tell so much, and we can blow them up and really get to the nitty-gritty. Can find out an injury 35, 40 years ago has been slowly decaying like a bad cavity that is finally coming to fruition. Well, sometimes you need to get an extraction or a root canal with your teeth. You don't want to do that with your body or with your spine. So come see us, or if you just know you want to do this, call my office, 459-9990, on Monday, or leave a message today, 459-9990, and say, I want to take advantage of that coupon for $37 Dr. McCollum is going to be selling at the county fair. And also, if you're interested in finding out about the chemical toxins in your body, we will do a neurotoxic questionnaire for you. And it's like I said, it's several pages, but it digs really deep, and it's going to look at where those hidden toxins may be hiding and what we can do about it. So many times our longevity has to do with, there are several factors in our life. You know, what are you eating? One of the ways we help people get healthy and lose those unwanted pounds is we have you do intermittent fasting, which I can explain to you. We'll be talking about it at the fair. Diet variation, which means change up what you eat. We live in a time right now where we're able to eat anything we want all the time. I mean, from any country, we can get every food in the world all the time. So one thing that's really interesting, I work with a guy named Dr. Daniel Pompa, a conference with him every week, and he helps advise me with my nutritional patients when they need help with cellular detox, cellular toxicity. One thing that we are learning is it's very important to play in the dirt. In fact, when we're doing a consultation on somebody who's got a chronic illness, we want to find out, well, where'd you grow up? Did you grow up on a farm? You grow up in a city? Did your mother ever let you get dirty? Actually, the people that didn't get dirty in those days usually have a weaker immune system, and they're more susceptible to all of these things because those microbiome, those bugs that you get out of the dirt, actually build your immune system. To that point, if you buy your food at a farmer's market, you're getting, and you buy it the same place every time, I encourage you to go to another one of those organic stands and buy it from another vendor, because you want that variety of microbiome. What one garden has, another one won't. And we want to start to build this really broad spectrum of microbiome in our body. And so eating organic food that you grow yourself is awesome. And getting food at the farmer market is great, but make sure you buy it from different sources so that your body can start to build the resistance to the world, which it needs to. If you are interested at all in what I'm saying, if you've got any of these symptoms that are driving you crazy, if you've never been to a chiropractor before, this is your chance to just find out what it's all about. I do something called corrective chiropractic care. I'm not the guy to go to if you want to get 1 or 2 visits and see if you can get out of pain. That is totally awesome. There's great, great chiropractors out there that do it. I broke my back when I was 10 years old, falling out of a tree, and I was in pain for 10 years of my life. And that was too much for me. I didn't want a quick fix. I wanted to learn how to be 62 like I am now and very healthy. So if you're looking to change your life, to change your health, draw a line in the sand and go, that's it, I'm done with this, let's go get healthy. Come see us at the county fair, McCollum Chiropractic. We're behind the food courts, and again, we're going to be doing screenings there. I'll be doing for $37 you can get $399 worth of initial services, exam, consultation, full set of digital x-rays, really amazing. We'll look at them together. We'll talk about what's going on, and I'll give you your options. and no obligations beyond that point. But this is a great opportunity. So I thought I would take this show, which I do once a month, Jackie Tucker's Stepping In show. We usually talk about cellular toxicity, diet variation, trends in chemical health. Today I thought, hey, we're going to be at the county fair. Let's get you guys out there. Come meet us. Talk to me. See if I'm somebody you'd like to work with. If not, I totally understand. I'm not for everybody. But if you really are looking for somebody to help give you a guide for the rest of your life, my goal is not to keep you coming to see me the rest of your life. My goal is to take your health from point A to point Z and teach you how to take care of your health from that point forward. We're going to be giving you information on how to change your diet, how to do diet variation. We may need to get you there, we might need to do some toxicity and get some of the heavy metals out of your body and the other toxins. We may need to correct some of the spinal misalignments that are literally choking off the life to the organs of your body. I didn't even get to half of the nerves in your body. Right between your mid-back, there's one called T5, and this one goes to your stomach. And if you have, so many times I press on that and it's sore, and I know people have heartburn. I go, how long have you had heartburn? And they go, oh my God, all the time. We spend $7 billion, $7 billion with a B, on things like Tums in our country every year. That's not solving anything. It's making the people that sell those products a lot of money, but all it's doing is causing your body to become more and more damaged because it's not fixing the problem. And by taking those antacids, you're changing the chemistry below into your intestines, because your stomach dumps into your intestines. It's supposed to be a certain acidity. When you take those antacids, it changes it, alters it unnaturally. Those friendly bugs in there, called the microbiome, are challenged by the bad ones. The opportunistic guys, the opportunistic anaerobes that go in there, they compete for the food you eat, and when they get done eating it, they spit out toxins. They spit out, all these chemicals that leak into your digestive system, or out of your digestive system into your blood. And that's just like putting turpentine on your cells. Your cells get so inflamed they cannot take in nutrients. So things like glyphosate and other heavy toxins that we ingest open up the doors in our intestines. Like they open up the double wide door and let heavy metals and toxins and even bacteria into our bloodstream that should never be there. So you need to eliminate any foods that have these things called glyphosates in it. There's a great product called Restore. Dr. Zach Bush created it. You can get it at Staff of Life or New Leaf, and I think even Aptos Natural has it. And start consuming this. But if you want some help with it, come talk to me. I'll be at the county fair. I'll be there Saturday and Sunday. My staff will be there Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You can go by and say, hey, just give me one of those tickets for $37. Here's my name, my number. Let's set up a time to meet with me, and we'll do the exam consultation, full set of digital x-rays, and we'll just see what we can do to make you healthier. So, let's see. Low back. There's also a part of your low back that causes headaches again. It's when you take a look at the liver, that's the biggest oil filter, or the biggest filter in our body. It's just like if you never change the oil in your car, or if you did change your oil, but you never change the oil filter, and if the oil was your blood, you're going to have filthy blood trying to feed your cells and trying to go through your brain. It goes through your brain 5 times a minute, that filthy blood, and it's going to cause damage to the brain. We have so many, 1/2 of the people in the United States are pre-diabetic or diabetic, which means you have incredibly high insulin levels, because when you have cellular resistance because of inflamed cell walls, your insulin level skyrockets. Guess what another name for Alzheimer's is? It's called diabetes type 3. Insulin on the brain is causing diabetes. So Alzheimer's. So if you have pre-diabetic or you're diabetic and you're taking insulin, you're just saying, well, I'm going to hold off the blood sugar levels until I get something going on in my brain that I can't remember that I got diabetes again. Not a good solution. Some of you take a medication called metformin, and I encourage you to look up online and see how much that's affecting the level of your A1C. I think you'll be surprised to find out that maybe there's something better. If you're interested in this, again, come talk to me at the Santa Cruz County Fair. I'll be doing workshops at 1 to 2 both Saturday and Sunday right there at my booth on cellular inflammation, diet variation, intermittent fasting, whatever the crowd wants, whatever you want, we'll talk about it. But come get evaluated by Miriam. She'll be there all week. She's very knowledgeable. She was one of those patients that I met, changed her life dramatically. She comes all the way from Fresno just to be at these fairs with me because she's so interested in helping other people get them the results that she's had. So we're winding down here. I talked the whole time, Griffin. Thanks a lot for being there. Griffin behind the scene here was waiting to do a commercial for me. And probably what we'll do is right at the end, let's play that disclaimer. But I've got a couple more minutes. So think about the foods that exhaust you. You know, what foods do you eat that make you tired? I could just let you know that I ate out at a restaurant a week and a half ago and I got the worst, I guess it was food poisoning. My lower digestive system was so bad and I had to work, I had to treat a lot of people the next day. And it was like, man, I got to do something about this. So I went on a 3-day bone broth fast. So I didn't eat anything but bone broth. And I got to tell you, my energy level skyrocketed. And my body problem went away immediately. My digestive system wasn't working on trying to fight off everything else. So I just want to encourage you to find out what you can do. Come talk to us at the Santa Cruz County Fair. We'd love to see you. Or call our office, 459-9990. And just say, hey, I'm going to come in. I want to get that coupon. Or stop by and pick it up. $37 for exam consultation, a full set of digital x-rays. So I guess we're about out of time. Griffin's going to play a little disclaimer for you. Pay attention to it. And then we're out with Sasha Bassa, or by Smith and Gail Dobson, some amazing local musicians. And we'll see you guys in a month. Thank you so much.